What's good, everybody? What's good? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel. Check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to speak on some recent comments that Stephen A. Smith made about Zion Williams. And Stephen A. Smith is getting some pushback from those comments, especially from the Pelicans organization. Basically because when he talk about them or when he talk about athletes, and people sometimes have to remind Stephen A. Smith that, like you talking about real people here, and people with problems. And Zion Williams, in my opinion, do have a food addiction. And people really don't think about food addiction like they do like drug addiction, or they think about alcohol or something like that, right? And to me, and you a lot of people will tell you like that sugar addiction, eating sweets and carbohydrates and stuff like that. It's harder to give that up, or just as hard as it is to for an alcoholic or a drug addict to give up drugs. And when you say stuff like that because it's food, people don't believe you. And you don't even have to be a person that's overweight to realize that like a lot of people just addicted to most people are addicted to some type of food, some type of sugar, or some type of carbohydrate, because your body becomes is just used to having that in you, and it's just hard to get off of that. And so that, in my opinion, is like a touchy subject with the food, and Stephen A. Smith is making it seem like Zion is like he wants to be addicted to this, like that's a choice that he made. When it comes to food, I don't think it's a choice. And like I said, you don't even have to be overweight. And fat people, skinny people, no matter what your size is, like a lot of people, most people are addicted to food and stuff like that. So I want to play what Stephen A. Smith said though about Zion. And then I'm gonna come back and give my some pushback, in my opinion, on what I think about what Stephen A. Smith said about Zion Williams and his problems that he's having as far as maintaining his weight.
Say this respectfully to Zion Williamson. We're very happy for you. But I want to piggyback off of what Perk added because it's incredibly important. Nothing was made up. The information that emanated about Zion Williamson, yeah, it came from inside the organization. It came from people even closer than that to Zion Williamson. I'm going to leave it at that. People that called up and encouraged us to get his ass because of some of the things that he was doing. You got people that are alcoholics. You got people that are drug addicts and stuff like that. What was Zion's problem? Food.
That's an addiction, like and they even have classes. Just like they have Alcoholic Anonymous, they have classes where, as though, people I don't know what they call it, but they do have people who have those addictions. And so you have to go to those classes in order to be able to cope with your addiction to food. It might be sugar, like I said, some type of carb or something like that. So it's the same thing.
Food addict. The joke was everybody in New Orleans that cooked. It could be everybody from a restaurant, a chef, to your grandmama. All right? Anybody that cooked knew about Zion Williamson, and he knew them. They were on a first name basis because that brother ate a lot. Okay? You even had rumors, and literally, I'm here thinking it was a joke, and somebody told me to go on the air and point out how he got busted hiding food under his bed.
All right. So when a person gets to the point where they're hiding food, and I had a family member who used to do that, right? Used to hide food. You know, that's an abnormal behavior for when a person feel like they have to hide their food. Or you hear about people like hiding, like alcohol. Some people hide their alcohol in the bathroom because they don't want their family members to know that they still drinking. And so people do that with food. But again, it don't get looked at the same way. They just think that you being greedy, just for the sake of being greedy. But once you get hooked on some type of sugar or or something like that, man, that's just like being on a drug for real.
This is the kind of stuff that was happening. Okay.
Cool. So
and you can't like, and when somebody's hooked on sugar or food, you can't you can't shame them off of it, right? When you do that, then that creates a situation where people feel like they need to hide their food or they need to hide it, and they can't really ask for help because people don't know how to help somebody who has that type of addiction. Charles Barkley, to this very day, he struggled with his weight. Even the guy who was on the panel with Stephen A. Smith, Kendrick Perkins, like from time to time, he struggles with his weight. A lot of, and you see that with professional athletes because after they retire, when you running up and down the court or you playing on the field, you burning up a lot of that, you're using up a lot of those calories and stuff like that. And so you can get away with eating certain things, but once you retire and you're not as active as you are as an athlete, man, then you're like, then that problem really gets out of hand. And it's hard to, because your lifestyle has changed, but as far as like you're not as active, but you still still have the same eating habits, man. It's just something that is hard to control. And I think that Zion, his situation is really, really is extreme. He just can't help it. He can get in shape for a little while and then he'll pick it back up, man. Pick that weight back up. But people are really, they calling Stephen A. Smith out, which you can kind of understand. I don't know if they're calling Stephen A. Smith out because he's being insensitive, but a food addiction, in my opinion, is just not something that you can shame people and be like, you just being greedy or call people pigs and stuff like that. It don't help the situation. It's very insensitive. And for somebody to be as as intelligent as somebody as Stephen A. Smith, he should know that like sugar is a drug. That they like more people are hooked on sugar than are hooked on any drug or any alcohol that probably combined, man, or nicotine or anything like that. Like sugar is the number one drug, and they put sugar in everything. Like you would be surprised. Like you think that you're cutting back on your sugar and you're not eating sugar, man. Sugar just is in everything, man. And so just about everything, unless you are somebody who is savvy about trying to avoid sugar or knowing what types of sugar that you can eat and still remain healthy. But yeah, man, Stephen A. Smith, for him to be as intelligent as he is, he should know that Zion Williams, he just need help. He really do need help. So that's my take on it. Make sure to like, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to leave a comment. And with that being said, man, I'm going to check y'all out in the next video. Peace.